Hi, I'm Sherry Poo, and I'm a peak performance and human potential coach. I'm also the awakener of awesome people, helping to actually reach their best versions in life and at work. I'm also a book author and the host of the show Empath to Success. And because empathy is now the biggest skill, in order for us to actually succeed in this ever volatile and uncertain world, we needed to actually take time to scrutinize, unpack, and deconstruct a lot of our emotions, provide it with names so that we could actually tame the emotions. We are not here to actually change your emotions, but yay, if you know there's a little bit of a shift that happens, we are here to actually stay with your emotions and tell you we are here for you. In today's podcast, I am actually very honored to be with such an incredible woman, and she is the EVP of the Bank of the Philippine Islands, and she is also the lead transformer of BPI, trying her best to create positive impact in the lives of so many Filipinos. She's also my great friend for 34 long years. I'm here with my friend, the awesome, very awesome, Ginbee Go.
Oh my gosh, Che, that's an introduction that is hard to top. But really, to me, 34 years of friendship, it's
My
a blessing
goodness,
for
yes.
me.
We are still here.
I am so blessed by your friendship.
Me too. You know, one of the and as we end 2025, one of my biggest reflections is how great, and my blessings are to actually be in the orbit of such great woman. So thank you, Ginbee, for being here.
Likewise, you're the fire lady here.
All right. And we are here to spread some fire.
Yes.
I will begin. I
Okay.
will begin with a difficult question.
Okay.
Ayan, simulan na natin.
Grabe
Ginbee.
naman.
Oh my goodness.
Mahirap ka agad.
Mahirap ka agad para talagang shock and I'm gonna shock and all this.
Okay.
You are the leader of how many people?
12,000. Close to 12,000.
My goodness, 12,000 people,
Yeah.
under your care.
Yeah.
Ang question ko ito, pwede ba silang mapagod?
Oo naman. It's very natural for people to get tired. I mean, we're human beings. We cannot operate 24 hours a day. Sumasaya, lumulungkot, napapagod, kailangan matulog. So yes. Yes, Che.
So pwede
Silang mapagod.
We've spoken to a lot of people in organizations and
Yes.
one of their most dominant, unresourceful emotion is they're tired, leading to exhaustion, leading to burnout. So my next question is, does their leader ever get burnt out? That's you.
I think burnout is already an extreme. And in BPI, I haven't felt that, to be honest.
You haven't
I
felt
haven't
that.
felt burned out to the extent that I want to give up. I've felt, of course, frustrated, sometimes disappointed and tired physically and sometimes emotionally drained. But burnout to me is parang nauubos ka eh. I haven't felt that. And
Not even prior to BPI, like in your other...
prior to BPI, yes. And
Okay.
I guess that's why I premised it by saying in BPI, hindi. Kasi I feel I am in a place where I'm living my mission. And to me, BPI, my work at BPI is like a form of sanctification. It's really like a mission eh. And I've been with BPI for 22 years. Can you believe that? 22 years, but it feels just like yesterday because I really have been enjoying working in BPI. And kahit na mahirap, may mga challenges kami, hindi siya laging up. Sometimes we're down, sometimes flat, but because we know that we are really making an impact in people's lives, go lang.
Those are very big words you said, the biggest sanctification. And here you are, in our first 5 minutes, you've given us the magic pill. And that is actually when you are connected to an organization with a great sense of purpose.
Yes.
Parang hindi ka talaga mapapagod. So, hindi talaga na mapagod ang mga taga-BPI. Di ba?
Alam mo, kung ako ganyan, you'd be amazed that many of our branch teams feel the same way. That to them, it's a mission. You know what? Pag may typhoon, pag may storm, kahit na nagfa-flood sa labas ng branch, andun pa rin sila nagsiserve. During COVID, ang dami sa mga taga-branch namin, they really battled out COVID at risking their lives kasi to them, importante yung trabaho nila to be able to serve people, lalo na during COVID, di nila alam kung anong mangyayari. But because we are a basic necessity, banking, making sure that people are able to pay for their day-to-day needs, talagang they battle it out. They go out and yung iba, kahit na nagbabike lang, tapos ang layo-layo ng kanilang tirahan from their home to the branch, binabike nila yan, or iba, sobrang nilalakad. Pag may typhoon, nagbabangkayan, ganyan sila ka-dedicated. Kaya, kung sila ganyan, ano pa kaya ako, diba? That's why during COVID, every day I was in the office because I just cannot, accept the fact that the branch frontliners, our contact center, our operations are going to office every day to serve. And here I am. I'm not. No, I'm one with them.
And it must be very humbling, Jin, right? To actually be in the presence of people who are going to fight so hard.
Yes.
Right? So we have no choice but to fight.
Sobra.
So my next question is, what makes you always on? Like always on fighting mode, always on winning state? Because I see you've been my friend for 34 years.
Fighting mode talaga.
Diba? And I've never seen you in a state where you are less than peak. And then the guys, we call her Ginbee. And it is because you're full of genius, right? So I'm very curious to know, right, the human being behind such show of strength.
Well, to be with friends like you, who are also always
Thank
on.
you.
I think we're alpha females. Diba? I mean, we're barkada and we have really a group of women who are out there leading in many different aspects and are always on because we are wired that way to give to the people around us. I think that is part of who we are. We're always on not because we want to be, the best. We're always on because we want to give to those around us, to those we love, our family. You have to be always on for them. Give them all the love and care. Be there when they need you most. Your kids, when, they need you in school, takbo ka, diba? Kahit na may importante kang meeting, and likewise, when your team calls for a big decision that has to be made, or even small decisions that are urgent, you have to be there. And of course, the important thing about being a leader is making sure that the way is clear, that people know where they're going, and so that's very important. Setting the direction, your strategies, your mission, your vision, those are very important. Once you've set that, people will just move. Your ability to mobilize people, and when they get mobilized, you have to be also be there on the go
And
with
I guess
them.
it's not just one way, right? They also
Exactly.
move you, right? They also inspire you.
It's both ways.
Yes.
You feed into each other's energy. They inspire you. I hope that I inspire them as well. And it becomes a flywheel. The momentum gets sustained.
But what if the reverse happens? No, this feeding of energy. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
how many? 12,000 people. There must be some bad juju here, right? Some negative vibrations over there. And you get to feed on
Yes.
that, right? And negative emotions actually expand faster than good emotions. So I wanted to know, has your energy ever been pulled down? I mean, are you human?
Yes, yes.
Ginbee.
Oo naman, Che. We all feel sometimes down, there were times in the past, parang iniisip mo, tama ba itong ginagawa ko? Am I making an impact? Bakit parang hirap na hirap kami to achieve our goals? 'Di ba? Or merong mga instances na bakit hindi as envisioned yung nangyayari? Right? So, there are times na you kind of like feel, teka muna, ako ba yun? Kami ba yun? So, yes, there are times na nakakapagod. And then you have to step back and take time. You have to step back, reflect. It's important to also be whole as a person. It takes a lot of inner strength to be able to do that. So, number one, I take time to pray. I take time to exercise. I take time to fulfill some self-love, pamper yourself, go to the parlor.
And you've always gifted me with self-love things. I know that, massage.
Oh, and syempre, importante na may kausap ka na friend.
Yes, of
Thank you
course.
for that, Jen.
Yes. And I think at our
Always.
age, we need that. I mean,
Yes.
besties,
Yes.
let's be together. 'Cause
Sisters, diba?
yes.
Sisters, not by blood, but by choice. And so I'm really thankful for our friendship and our other sisters' friendship.
Likewise. So we are in a group, in a community where we support each other, especially in this season of our career, right? And even, as parents or empty nesters na tayong dalawa, di ba?
Wala nang masyado sabihin yung baka tumatanda tayo.
Oo. Sige. Kunwari na lang, no?
Pero sige, acknowledge natin yan.
Ito yung question ko, I mean, I know you've gone through so many challenges in your life, no? And in the lives of the people you care for. And I see you, you've always been an aspiration to me. It's like, you're always there. And if I move forward, you're also moving forward. It's very hard to actually, be walking together with you. So I have a lot of respect for you for that.
Oh, thank you.
But my question is this. Have you ever pulled anybody down? I mean, are you, do you surrender to the weakness of yourself and, feel anger, for example? People are annoyed with you. I'm just curious, I mean, is it all good, resourceful
Siguro kung nainis
emotions?
sila sa akin, hindi nila sinasabi.
Okay.
Maybe, or maybe my husband's more honest with me, di
Ay,
ba?
lahat naman ng husbands ganyan Parati rin nainis sa akin yung asawa ko
Masyado yata mas strong yung personality.
So tingin ko si Jeff tsaka si Edwin pareho yan, di ba?
oo.
Okay, we married a
ko.
person who's almost like
Yes.
each other.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct, diba? But we like that. Strong men, right?
Yes.
Men who are not afraid to tell us when and to tell us when we need to improve ourselves, when we need to change and adjust. And so maybe not intentionally, Chet, to your question, pulling others down. I don't think in fact my belief and my personal advocacy that I don't say all the time is to really make an impact on others, to make a difference in other people's lives. So in as much as I can, help people succeed in their careers, mentor them, coach them, be their fan, be their number one fan, particularly in the team and for our families. Our kids, your kids, they are in good positions, they achieve. And, isn't that what we want for our families too? We are a team after all, right?
Yes.
So we support our family, our husbands, our kids. We rally them behind to go after their aspirations. So I don't think that the intention to pull down people is there. On the contrary, I think both of us are meant to really support people. But if ever there will be certain actions on our part or certain, as you would say, emotions that would make them feel bad, I think it's more that maybe we were not too sensitive or too aware as to the impact of our actions or words. And when we see reactions such as those, na parang they felt bad about it or they feel like we're putting them down, we just have to make sure that we go back to them and tell them our intention. So sometimes, syempre, hindi mo naman maiwasan, nagagalit ka sa anak mo, di ba? Pinapagalitan mo rin ng mga anak mo or nag-aaway kayo ng mag-asawa, lang perfect naman. And always, every time na papagalitan ko yung mga kids, sabihin ko sa kanila, remember that we are getting mad, not because we want to put you down, but in fact because we love you and we want you to be better.
And you mentioned something about younger generation, right? So I want to get into this topic. It's very controversial because whenever I do focus group with leaders, the main concern of the older generation leaders is how different the younger generation is. And that as a parent,
Yes.
we would, we would complain, about our kids, and we hear this as they don't have grit, they don't have there's this feeling of entitlement and all. But listening to younger generations, sometimes I do feel it is us who are feeling entitled, right?
Talaga?
Oh, kasi
Nafe-feel
'di ba?
mo yan?
Kasi parang I expect you to actually, listen to me.
Okay.
Right? And we're so, unconsciously disempowering their voices because we think we're right and they're wrong. And I think trying to say that we have the experience all the time, no? This whole talk about,
But isn't that the truth?
well, sometimes kasi, di ba, ang experience overrated.
Okay.
Come on. What is, if you think about this, Ginbee,
Okay.
the future
Yeah.
is so much different from the past.
Sure.
What are we bringing from the past that makes us really know what the future is, right? And I think in terms of how the future is going to evolve is so much closer to the younger generation than to us. So this feeling of entitlement sometimes, and I get this feedback from people,
Yeah.
right? This feeling of entitlement sometimes,
Yeah.
that we know more than you, and that they feel diminished by our words, right? And it has made me so much more conscious about the words that I choose.
Yes.
And sometimes, minsan iniisip ko talagang, minsan, bakit ba kailangan kami maging careful? So, and I always get asked this question. So, who needs to be more flexible? Is it the younger generation or us? Di ba, may level of arrogance din yun na parang mas matanda kami, ikaw ang mag-adjust sa amin. So, there are really two ways of looking at it. But I guess listening more to conversations like this has humbled me to do that. I don't know. I'm just very curious. Do you experience the same thing? This feeling of,
Every time I also have these discussions with my kids, particularly on modern issues, and we have differences in opinions, be that, say, divorce, LGBTQ, all these issues that confront us. I actually, what is helpful is you listen first. And then I begin to realize, tama rin naman sila. I mean, inclusivity is very important. Respect for differences is very important, because isn't that what we need to be able to do? That we're all different, and accepting our differences make us humans and live in harmony and peace. But that's not to say that you should not express your own views. I always tell the kids that just as I listen to you and you have your opinion, you also listen to me, because I also have my opinion. In fact, sometimes, I would tell them, we will tell you what we think, but ultimately, we cannot demand your action, because there's free will. And we cannot be with you 24/7. So we hope that you will also be accountable for the consequences of your actions. The difference, though, is I don't think we're coming from a sense of entitlement. And this is maybe to your point, do you think I feel entitled as a parent, diba? Parang to me, it's not so much entitlement, but I see it as more like wisdom. I don't think we should underestimate the value of experience, because looking at the future, there's no data. So what are you banking on other than experience, which then leads to wisdom? And that, I believe, is what parents are able to provide their children, the experience and the wisdom. Now, whether our kids will ultimately listen to that wisdom or experience that we provide is again their decision. And
Can you bring-
whatever that decision is, we have to respect.
But can you bring that to the workplace? Can you tell the people, reporting to you that, I will tell you what I think. This is what data is telling us. But ultimately, if you decide, for example, your one downs, for example, if you decide to take on a certain path, you go ahead with that decision.
Che, there's always a blind spot when it comes to data. You cannot have perfect information. But data is there to be guideposts, right? Wherein more or less this is the direction. But when it comes to the decision, there will still be areas wherein it's blind. You never really know. And that's when discussions will really bring out the best decision. So I open up the floor to opinions, to any questions, to ideas. So if you're a leader, your superpower is the ability to draw out ideas, thoughts, opinions from the different people in your team. And to me, whether you're a Gen Z, you're a millennial, you're a Gen X, a baby boomer, when you put those ideas and opinions together, that's the power of the team.
I wanted to stay there for a short while. Itong democratizing the process in the boardroom or even in the meeting rooms, right? I mean, we wanted to ask them, to voice out their opinions, but you end up with a very quiet room, right? I mean, diba? And some people are not as invested as you are or as their leaders are. And we just wanted to make sure that, we stop this conversation because we want to go home na. Diba? I mean,
Yes.
these are real things that are happening, right? So some of them, it's very principle-based, but in actual execution, it's so hard to make that happen, right? In fact, the bigger problem is not working through the differences. The bigger problem is how do you make these people give you ideas? Right? How do you make them speak up? How do you make them become more invested? Do you experience this kind of challenges?
I used to.
But not anymore now. You have so many, magic pills there that, come on, throw it out.
Because you have to I had to understand the fact that we're a very regulated industry, and we're trusted by people's money. And therefore our policies, our processes are really meant to control, right? To minimize risk. And therefore, to do that, the tendency is like a military. These are the policies, these are the procedures, follow. No questions asked.
Yan ang sinasabi sa inyo ng
In the past,
okay.
right? But I noticed that there are negatives to that. And it makes people just follow and not think on their toes and not bring to fore ideas that would make one better, or we're not able to respond to changes in the market environment. We're not able to attend to the changing needs of our customers. We're not able to listen to our customers, because guess who the people are closest to our customers? It's those in the front lines. So if they don't speak up, how would we know? Right? So it is important that you open the floor for discussions and assure them that this is a safe space and there is no right or wrong answer. So in meetings, in workshops, in planning, initially I had a difficult time drawing people. What I started to do was, these are some of the thoughts that we are looking at. What do you think? I really started to identify people who might be more comfortable speaking up and let them speak up. And then after they've been speaking up, I will tell them, this team, you need to encourage them to speak up more. And then now it's part of the culture. And
So your leadership is a speak up culture.
yes.
So even if they are introverted, they would.
Yeah, and the more that you actually ask them for an opinion, sometimes they're just waiting to be called. Kasi ang Filipino sometimes, 'di ba, unless sabihin mo, kunyari, Ana, ano sa palagay mo? Hindi yan magsasalita.
Yes, when we do our workshops, we would actually throw points and rewards, right?
Yes.
I mean, it feels like we are actually buying their opinion, but they just really need to have that excuse, no, for them. And they will always say, for example, di ba, parang, hindi to, para sa point lang to, hindi, para sa score to, di ba?
Right.
But it's really just to give them that permission, right?
Yeah, and then sometimes, you know, you also make them prepare ahead.
Yes, yes.
Diba? Kasi ang takot nila is baka may sabihin ako na mali. Diba? So, gagawin mo para less takot sila. You give them, these are the topics that we will discuss tomorrow. Or be ready with these discussion points. Or let's workshop first. In a group of peers, they're less afraid. Right? So, you use different ways and means by which people will feel more and more comfortable speaking. And then you reinforce that with words of assurances. Or, for example, you would say, that's a very good point. Can you tell me more about it? Or you say, I like the fact that you did this. Can you expound more? So it's that assurance.
And these are just very simple words, right? I mean, very simple words. And you're saying that in your meeting rooms, when you say these words, it actually gives people permission.
Correct.
And so,
And
it's
in
really
fact,
just words.
what I find really interesting is also that encourages them. I would say, that point, I like that. And let me build further on that. When you say, let me build, they feel good. Kasi parang, oh my gosh.
May value yung
May
sinabi ko.
value yung
That brings
sinabi
us
ko.
back to those days in PNG, right? When we were actually taught.
Yeah.
and that was really just a system, right? You always say to build, and how we were actually taught how to give feedback, for example. And if you bring it to right now where we are, it has
Yes.
actually made us, I think, better.
I think so.
Leaders and ready for that. But I want to go back, Jin. I mean, we were talking about emotions here, right? I want to go back to BPI, for example.
Okay.
And as parents, we have technology and AI and agentic AI, right? I mean, and AI is now smarter than so many people, maybe even me, you. All right. So when you think about feelings, for example, we cannot teach AI feelings, right? So in the bank, there will be a lot of, feelings, right? I mean, I could be very happy because I'm able to buy my house, or I could be totally devastated because I lost my money to fraud. I mean, there's just so many feelings out there. You cannot teach AI to feel that.
Not yet.
Not yet. So we will get there.
Maybe.
Will AI ever be human? Will it replace humans?
I don't think so. They will augment humanity. They will make humanity efficient, more productive, and perhaps also be able to live more fully. Because right now we're in the midst of, just work and less time for, the things that you like to do. But that's because everything is highly manual, diba? And wala ka, the ones who help you are also people who also get tired, right? So I think AI, and again, this might be contrary to some who believe that AI is bad, but I think there's a happy middle wherein AI is really going to help us be better persons.
So you're saying that AI can actually help us get better work-life balance.
Yes.
And you have nothing against a person who will probably go chat GPT,
No.
submit the work to you, you approve it, and then they go home and everyone's happy.
I don't mind that. And yes, because these are tools that make it more efficient. You probably view it that way because you haven't tried it. I mean, not you per se, but in general, right? I've tried it. I've tried, all these chat GPTs, Gen AI. It really makes life easier,
right?
Easier.
And I think the new skill that we're going to develop here, or at least the new behavior, is to try and make sure we have intelligent prompts, right? I go back to the question of, when I call, for example, the bank, and I am in a very strong negative emotion, and I get to speak to what I think is a chatbot, I will get frustrated, right? And I go to a bank, and the bank manager, for example, is used to AI and all, who will probably, diminish my emotions because they're not used to it anymore, right? I mean,
I guess there would be a time when people will realize when AI will be more effective than an actual person. Again, this is me looking at it more from a future state or impact. For example, right now, people are already frustrated because when they call, it takes a long time before one gets responded to. Mahaba yung waiting time. Gusto nila may makausap na kagad, but there's a queue, so people will have to wait. For example, there's an IVRS that would say the next available agent is, say, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, right? So they are already waiting, but they want efficiency, they want productivity, they want something immediate, right? So AI can provide that to them. Immediately, an AI bot will be able to respond and pick up the call and say, hello, I'm so-and-so. I am the virtual assistant of BPI. How may I help you? Then the person can relate. I need, for example, I need my bank statement immediately, or I need a bank certificate immediately because it's required in this embassy so-and-so, right? And then the AI can immediately confirm, thank you for that request. May I confirm that this is what you need, and kindly provide your account number, etc. And the AI can immediately pass it on to the system and say, we have put your request, and you can get your bank certificate in this branch at this time.
and that will happen.
And that can happen. Or even I can send it to your email. That can happen. Imagine the efficiency, productivity, hindi ka naghintay as a
But
customer.
all of this is happening without even human intervention. Like, for example, generating that bank statement now is all AI, it's all computer.
It can be that. That's something that we're trying.
That means it will never be late.
Yes. It's not late. It's accurate, right? Because it will pull from your system. And so, kasi sometimes if it's a person, nagkamali ng type. Diba? But si AI, maka-capture din. Of course, we'll keep testing for accuracy. And that's how AI becomes more and more intelligent. The more you use it, the more accurate it becomes, the more intelligent it becomes. So and then when you go to the branch though, right? Pag nagpunta ka ng branch, the branch personnel, because now they are AI enabled, there's less room for mistakes. And the person, the branch actual person, can really just spend time sitting with you, understanding you, engaging with you, making kwento about life in general, which is what humanity is about. And how much more pleasant will that engagement be?
You paint it with so much and you painted so much enthusiasm. I'm very convinced. But I see you speak about technology and AI, and I see your entire physiology, the attitude of your body, how convinced and confident you are with AI. Whereas me here at the opposite side of the fence, I'm really afraid. I'm really worried.
As you should be.
Yes, but it's this emotional laziness that I'm worried about. Like when we're so used to AI, for example, and we're so used to everything being churned by AI, and then parang nakakalimutan na natin even when we're facing humans kasi hindi na napapractice yung muscle eh. Right? Hindi na practice yung muscle and dumating siya, nakakalimutan mo na how to actually do small talks, nakakalimutan na how to be more empathetic. Natatakot ako that, we might surrender to the power of AI but we forget being human. And I mean, is that even a valid fear?
Che, I think just like in any technology, there are always risks. But if we are aware of these risks, we are able to manage them. And that's how reskilling and upskilling will be very important. And how you define your new organization in the future in such a way that the people actually do what people are supposed to do. And just augmented by AI, then that will be the big task.
So what should people do? What are people supposed to do?
Understand the needs of the people, of their clients, understand their dreams, their hopes, their aspirations, get to know them as persons and not just as pesos and centavos.
Jean, parang ang sarap na ng work ngayon kasi parang chit-chat na lang. Parang now we're teaching your bank managers and, just be a friend to them.
Exactly.
Right? So we're going to pay them and they will actually have new friends and they will have, a lot of coffee chats. I mean, is this an imagined future?
That, yes. I mean, part of that is that, right? Of course, there's still the technology in the back end side, but those in the frontliners can really just be that. In the provinces, in the provincial branches, yung mga customers nagiging friends with our branch frontliners, nagiging ninong-ninang, naiimbita sa mga party ng mga pamilya kasi part na rin sila ng family. Why? Because in the provincial areas, our branch teams are actually engaging more with the community.
So because of AI, we become more human.
I believe so.
That's actually a very interesting insight. I mean, I'll take that with me because I carry a lot of doubt and even cynicism with this growing, attachment and love for AI, for generative, for agentic AI. So,
Che, I mean, yes, I am more optimistic, but I also know there are risks. And that's part of what we do in the bank. Identify the risks of any technology and manage those risks. When we transform for the technology, the digital space, that when we went digitalization, we didn't say digital transformation, we said phygital transformation.
Which means the physical, the person needs to transform.
Physical. The person needs to transform. In fact, our biggest work is not just technology transformation. It's manpower transformation. The person, the team, the organization, the culture needed to change. The way that we train people needed to be enhanced. It's no longer just about hard skills. It's more the soft skills. Right? How we engage. It's about the customer journey, the customer experience.
So this is a lot to do with a lot of also understanding emotions, right? The emotions, for example, of working with people. So my next question is, our leaders, our parents, is it okay for them to be emotional, or should they be emotional, or should they not be emotional?
Our parents.
As you as a parent or you as a leader, I mean, the school of thought here is that leaders, especially the more when you rise, to the level of senior management, that, you have to be tough. There should be gravitas and there should be confidence. There's a lot of currency being given in these kinds of, skills, no? But very little on emotional intelligence. Do you agree with this?
That's something that we have really been trying to improve on as a bank. Because we understand that as a bank, people see us as cold, about money. We deposit money there. It's all about filling up forms, going there, and being asked these very technical questions. We're very technical. For the longest time, that's what we've been trying to change. And And that's why, in the last 4 years, our Net Promoter Score, which is a metric that assesses how many of our clients will actually recommend us to their family and friends, we've jumped 10 points. And we have actually led the Net Promoter Score. What does that tell you? That our desire to become more empathetic, to provide a customer experience that is delightful in the eyes of our clients, not our eyes, has been actually effective despite the fact that we have enabled digital technology in the bank. Because normally you would think, pag digital yan, it's more cold, right? They don't want to now process transactions with clients face to face. On the contrary, that's not the case. And that's why we've gone through the digital transformation in recognition that clients still want to be able to engage with a person. And they will do that because they want the warmth. They want the empathy. They want to be able to get immediate answers to their questions in the context of who they are, what their lifestyle is, and what their dreams are. Currently, digital cannot do that. And I don't think AI can do that immediately.
So you mentioned something about empathy, right? I'm getting a lot of, value bombs from you. Like you're saying, for example, the more digital or the more AI we are, the more we will have work-life balance, the more we'll feel human. So I want to touch on this humanness. And a lot of it is, I'm curious about the human being behind you, Ginbee. Number one is this. If you were to name a predominant, unresourceful, negative emotion in you, diba, that at least exists, there must be at least 10% of that. What is that? I mean, what is a dominant negative emotion that you feel?
Maybe not a feeling, but more like, I know sometimes I can be stubborn, strong-willed, opinionated.
Okay, I'm getting scared of you. Is your husband scared of you?
No, because it's also the same.
Wait. You're stubborn, opinionated, and that's why you're
Strong-willed.
here. You're there, right, in BPI. But I'm looking more for the mistakes that you made, right, or some of those non-wins that you experienced, right, in your journey towards success. And there must be some emotions that were connected to that. So I'm quite interested to know, what are they?
Oh, that's a difficult question, She. I mean, I've definitely had mistakes in the past, and but these are maybe a wrong. When I underestimated the ability of a team to transform. For example, we reorganized, and we had this concept of a universal loan account officer. So regardless of whether you want a home loan, an auto loan, you have a universal loan account officer who can answer the question, or even a business loan.
And that is a person.
And that's a person. That's a person. So the emotion there is more like, you believe in the capability. There's a sense of pride in the capability of the team. And I guess nothing wrong with that, but maybe I underestimated the need for acceptance of that. That, you need to be able to upskill yourself. You need to be able to know another type of product, and be able to address any questions with regards to a product that you're not comfortable with. So maybe that's, to me, and that didn't work. That didn't work. So we had to revert to product-specific loan account officers.
So when you make mistakes like that, and I'm sure there are, consequences for having decisions. I mean, at the end of the day, we will not have 100% certainty, right, when we make decisions. But when you make decisions like that and the stakes are high and you feel that you made a wrong decision, I mean, how do you punish yourself when the doors are closed? I mean, do you right? I mean, I'm just curious, right? Sometimes it's difficult for you to show your raw emotions to your team, right? So how do you punish yourself?
I don't.
Okay.
But I feel bad.
Okay.
Yes, I feel bad that it didn't work. I mean, it shows in the
Do you
numbers.
forgive yourself?
I think so. I am very much aware that we are not perfect. That as leaders, we make decisions that may or may not bode well in the environment or with people. We cannot make everyone happy, right? But I guess if I punish myself, then how can it be addressed, right? So it's more like you give it a try and you continue to give it a try and you keep
Try and never surrender.
try and then when you say when really it hasn't worked despite all the efforts, then you pull back and you humble yourself, right? And
I guess that's always how I've known you, right? I mean, you are there, but you've always been very humble, and you take time to actually make people feel special. I think that's what I love about you, and so, keep it up wherever your career brings you to. And
I am trained by you.
wow. Okay, thank you for that. We train each other. We
Yes.
train each other, right?
Yes,
'Cause,
yes.
we know the limits of our own training, and hence we
Yes.
actually need to, borrow the wisdom of other people to guide
And
us.
Che, what stuck with me is, when every time we discuss things like the NLP, it's how you condition your mind, heart, and gut to be aligned, and how you talk to yourself, I think is very important. And that's why when you said punish yourself, I don't think that's necessarily
It's not resourceful.
right? Because when I listen to you, I mean, if you align your mind, heart, and gut, then everything will just flow. So if your heart tells you that it's kind of wrong, but your mind has not accepted it, then you're still not in that state of acceptance and equilibrium, and it's still wrong. Then when you begin to realize and you align it, then you accept it with all humility.
Exactly. And it's very hard. I mean, it seems very elementary, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the nervous system must be aligned. That's why
Yes.
it's all in one line, right? The head, the heart, and the gut. That's
Yes.
all in one line.
Yes.
And we needed to rearrange our body organs sometimes because we put our rational thinking into our hearts.
Yes.
We put our emotions we overthink emotions. We become reckless with our data sometimes, or we become afraid, or we don't move when it's already the gut that needs to actually move.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's very simple, right? Success biology. I mean, if we're just able to use all of these body parts, I guess we are centered.
Yeah, so that's why I really love it whenever we talk about that. Because when I listen to you, it really does make a lot of sense. And sometimes I catch myself and say, in your gut, you feel it's right, but in your heart, is it really right?
But I think, especially for somebody who holds a very, very important position as you, listening to your intuition is very important, right? And it's a skill that you're very comfortable with it, because at
Yes.
some point,
Yes.
the data will not tell you where to go.
Exactly.
The data tell you what happened, but it will not tell you where to go. And part of the
As
intuition.
I said earlier, data is imperfect. You can never have 100% of the data you need to make a decision.
Correct.
Then you have to rely on your gut, but also your heart. Is this the tendency is sometimes your gut, you're too risky, right? But when your heart, your heart is like the one telling you, are you doing this out of love? Are you doing this out of care? Are you doing this out of selfishness.
Which is very important what you said, right? Because out of the three brains, the heart is consulted the most. It's heart, head, gut, heart, back to the
Yes.
heart, right? I mean, you always consult the heart, and which means that, our emotions are large, right? And if
Exactly.
we honor that and not think that, whenever we listen to our emotions, it makes us weak leaders, then I think, we could be better leaders. We could be more empathetic leaders. We could understand this world more. And this is how it should be, right? Before the meteors killed the dinosaur in us, we want to make sure we leave something important to this world. And if it's just one emotion, Ginbee, what is that emotion? Whether it's an emotion, a value, or something more spiritual, what is it that you wanted to leave in the next generation of leaders of BPI and even your children?
I think the emotion of inspiration. I've always been driven by that as a leader, because long after we leave the bank, I retire, I want to make sure that the people will continue to be inspired to make this a better place, to make an impact in other people's lives, because that's what leaders are supposed to do, to make lives better. Whether that be employees or customers. And to me, we only have one world. We only have one country.
We better behave before it's taken away from us, right?
Exactly. I would have said love, but then again, to me, as leaders, parang love is too emotional a word for workplace. But what would continue to resonate over the years is inspiration. To continuously be inspired to make this a better world.
Wonderful, right? What a way to end this conversation, Ginbee. I mean, I've always been inspired by you. I mean, I look at you and I see how strong you are, how powerful you are, and yet how human you are. And I know it will never, never change, just despite agentic AI. So thank you so much for that. But before you leave,
Yes.
I have something to ask you. I'm going to make you more human. So I have a fast round here. So my first question is, what makes Ginbee afraid?
When there are health issues for the family.
Okay. What's going to put you to shame?
When I am not able to respond to the needs of our customers in the best way possible, when I'm not able to deliver on what we've expected, our vision, our mission, I think I would be ashamed.
Okay. This last thing is actually very interesting. You have to answer as honest as possible. What is your drama?
What's my drama? Oh my gosh, what's my drama? Weight loss.
Okay. High five there, Jin. You've lost it. You've lost it. I haven't. So I'm going to try better.
No, I'm still at it. Every day.
All right. Thank you, Ginbee. Thank you so much for your time. I have grown as a person, and I'm not joking this, all the time when I'm with you. And today I learned, how I could have better work-life balance. You've given me so many magic beans there, and I've learned how to actually be more human. And I see you. I am so happy to see my friend so successful and yet so inspiring and so human. So thank you so much for this time.
Thank you, Chair.
You have made this room bigger and richer and wiser again just
Thank
by your
you.
presence.
The honor and the pleasure is mine, Chair. I really enjoyed the time with you. As always, there's no dull moment.
This is our second time.
Second time.
We're gonna do it 3.
Okay.
Because great things happen in 3. Thank you so
course.
much,
Thank
Ginbee.
you.
Thank you so much to everybody who has stayed with us. Sometimes, under extreme pressure, we forget to be our best version. And so this space actually reminds us to be our best version. And BPI's mantra,
Do more.
do more, be more. When we do more, we become more. And when we become more, we actually get to do more. I want to add to BPI
BPI's mantra.
Yes.
Feel more.
Yes.
Right? And always invite the emotions that will make you alive as possible. If you like what you just heard, please feel free to like and subscribe to us, and we commit to actually bring as many ordinary people to actually increase at this room and make us all wiser. Thank you so much. This is Cherry Africa, and this has been Empath to Success.
Oh, thank you.